Kirby Smart and the Dawgs got some big news on Mother's Day over the weekend, picking up a commitment from four-star wide receiver Thomas Blackshear out of Savannah, Calvary Day, 6'1", close to 200 pounds. This is a kind of a bigger physical receiver who didn't play a ton last year, only played in 7 games, but caught 27 passes, 551 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So when he did catch the ball, good things happened. I'm going to talk about this commitment and really where Georgia goes from here. I know Dean Legge talked about this commitment last night. It is a big deal. He doesn't have 5 stars next to his name. If you look up his numbers, they're not going to, get your jaw dropping, right? The film is fine. It's not going to blow anyone away, but this is a guy who kind of plays like a running back in a way. He can stretch the field. He runs well for 6'1", 200 pounds, but he's a guy who can break tackles after the catch. He's got good vision. He's got strong hands. He tracks the ball well in the air. He can stretch the field, but he's a guy that you can get the ball out quickly to, and he can improvise and find some room to run. And he's hard to bring down to the ground, especially by one defender. He's a guy who usually falls for 2 or 3 more yards, but he does have some quickness, some shiftiness to him. So again, I know Dean already talked about this, but as someone who covers recruiting, definitely want to come in here and talk about him a little bit. But in a state of Georgia, in this class, really, it's full of very talented receivers. I'm going to talk about them in just a second. But Thomas Blackshear is absolutely one of the best. It's a nice pickup. It might not, really excite a lot of Georgia fans, but I'm telling you, this is a really good player from Savannah that the staff is really high on. I think they told him he could be a George Pickens type. I'm not sure about that because George Pickens was one of the best receivers, or at least one of the more talented receivers to ever come through the program. And I think there are at least 2 wide receivers in the state of Georgia that I think are trending Georgia's way, by the way, that are better than Thomas Blackshear. But, he is a 4-star prospect. He's ranked as the number 10 athlete, even though he's going to play receiver at Georgia. Number 289 overall. Don't look at the ranking. Don't even worry about right now. The rankings don't matter in May. His ranking is going to increase. But now that he's on board, we're going to talk about some other wide receivers that I think Georgia's in the mix for. But first, got to shout out to my guys at College Bronze. Listen, if you're still looking for a graduation gift, Father's Day gift, it's right here. It is right here. This is the best, most unique, most detailed Georgia Bulldog statue on the market. You got to let your neighbors know that you're a dog fan, right? You got to let them know. And if you've got a dad out there, grandfather, they've got ties, they've got shirts. If they're a Georgia fan, you get them this bad boy, they are going to absolutely love it. Front porch, back porch, office, by the pool. He looks great anywhere. You can get a discount today. Promo code DOGPOST. It's in the description below. That's where you can order your bad boy. But remember, get the discount with the promo code DOGPOST, okay? Moving on, okay? I know I've talked about these guys before, but I want to talk about CJ Wiley for a second because I think he might be the top guy on Georgia's board. I saw him practice at Milton last week. I think this kid could push for 5-star status. Right now, I have Travis Smith Jr. at Westlake ranked higher than CJ Wiley, but that could change soon. CJ Wiley, his dad played at LSU. He's coming off a tremendous season for Milton. His mom, I think, was an athlete at LSU. So he's got athleticism running through his body. He's got size, 6'4", 195, but this is why he's so special. Dude runs at 10.6 in the 100-meter. At 6'4", 195, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And if you turn on the film, he's just running by guys left and right like a deer. He's just a big, fast deer just running by guys. And he made it look easy. He caught 68 passes last year, 1,473 yards and 14 touchdowns in just 15 games. He was a scoring machine. He helped lead Milton to a 7A title. And those are really good numbers considering all the talent that was around him. Milton's tight end is going to Auburn. Their wide receiver from last year, who's a senior, DeBron Gatling, he's going to South Carolina, I believe. So CJ Wiley, playing with a ton of talent at Milton, still caught 68 passes and averaged just under 22 yards a catch. This guy's a big play machine. He's ranked as the number 16 wide receiver. There are not 15 wide receivers in the country better than CJ Wiley. There's not. I know it's loaded. I know there's a lot of really, really good receivers. You can't tell me that there's 15 guys who are better than a 6'4", 195-pound pass-catching machine who runs a 10.6 in the 100-meter. That's not going to happen. I think Georgia leads for him, and I think right now they're probably the team to beat. Travis Smith Jr., another guy, again, keep a close eye on. I've talked about him for a while. He caught 53 passes, just under 900 yards, and 11 touchdowns. He's the number 11 wide receiver prospect, number 12 prospect in Georgia. Another big body, big catch radius guy, big target down the field who can leap up and snatch the ball like A.J. Green out of the air. He's got tremendous hands, body control. He's not a burner, but he does have some football speed. He's not as fast as C.J. Wiley, but he can create separation. He's a good route runner, can pick up yards in a hurry. He's just not going to outrun defenders down the field, but he's kind of a lean, athletic. He's got some muscle on him, but he's a sure-handed guy who can stretch the field and make big plays along the sidelines, in traffic, jump ball situations. I really like Travis Smith Jr., and I think he's training Georgia's way as well. Listen, James Coley has a lot of targets out there. He doesn't have to go very far. He might dip down in the state of Florida and get Dawgs, former Ohio State commitment. Again, 6 foot, 200 pounds. They want these guys with muscle. You know, most of the receivers they bring, they want to have some size on them because they have to block. They have to block in the run game. Not only are they asked to catch and do a lot in the passing game, but if you're not blocking, you're not playing at Georgia, okay? You can play elsewhere, but if you're not physical, you're not going to play and you can't play at Georgia. So they're bringing in guys who are 200 plus pounds who can catch, but also bring a physical aspect as well. So Javen Boggs is the name to know. Tyon Taylor out of Illinois. He took a visit to Georgia, unofficial visit in late March. Heard that went very well. He is really high on Georgia. I think they're in his top 4, top 3. I don't believe he has set an official visit to Georgia yet, but I would be surprised if they don't get one. He's the number 10 wide receiver prospect, number 82 prospect in the country. In 8 games last year, he's from Illinois, so I don't know the exact details of why he only played in 8 games. Only caught 32 passes, 512 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's not going to excite anyone if you just look at the numbers, but this is a shifty, athletic kid. I think he's a multi-sport guy, but good hands. He's got some explosiveness to him, has dominated the 7-on-7 circuit, so he's a pass-catching machine, and he's ranked as a top 10 wide receiver in the country in a loaded receiver class for a reason. So the numbers, may not jump out to you, but I'm telling you, that kid can play too, and he's an out-of-state guy to keep a close eye on. So is Marcus Harris out of Mater Dei. He's going to be taking an official visit to Georgia June 18th. Okay, so he's a California pass catcher to know, 5'11", 185 pounds, number 15 wide receiver, number 153 overall. Another sure-handed guy who plays at a program that knows how to win and competes and works hard. What Georgia is to the NFL, Mater Dei High School is to college football. If you play there, you should be ready to play at the collegiate level because they work hard, they know how to win, they know how to run a program, and the guys there practice and compete. Again, there's a lot of pressure at Mater Dei to win not only state titles, but national titles. So that's a program that knows how to win, and they develop their players really well. So he is a wide receiver to know as well. Some other guys to keep an eye on, Phillip Bell, 4-star wide receiver, another guy out of California. Eugene Hilton, son of T.Y. Hilton, I believe, who played for the Colts. He's an out-of-state guy that does hold an offer that is very high on Georgia. Edward Coleman is another maybe shorter but quick, explosive wide receiver who plays with Thomas Blackshear at Calvary Day in Savannah. I believe he said he had a Georgia offer months ago, maybe last year, picked up one. Not sure where he is on Georgia's board, but he's a good player who will play at the next level. If he does get the green light to jump on board at some point, I think Georgia sits in a really good spot. So with them only taking 2 wide receivers in the last class, I expect them to take at least 3 to 4. But you got to remember, it's okay if none of these guys are 5 stars. 3-star wide receivers come to Georgia. Low 4-star wide receivers come to Georgia, and they can play well. The rankings don't matter when they get there. If they work hard, compete, and develop, they're going to see the field no matter where they were ranked out of high school. So yes, the 5 stars are fun, like the A.J. Cranes, the Malcolm Mitchells, the George Pickens. Those are fun players to watch, and more often than not, those guys are really good if they're 5 stars out of high school, receivers at least. That normally, more often than not, they are the player that they were out of high school. So they might not land a 5-star receiver in this class, but it's okay because these are really good players who could be ranked higher if they played if they were in the 24 class or the 26 class, so on and so on. But Georgia's going to get a really good wide receiver class. They've got one good one on the board already. They are in a really good position to land several more who are some of the best in Georgia, but there's some out-of-state guys to know, and more details are over on the website, so make sure you're checking that out. But they got a good one yesterday, and I think this could... Right now, it's looking like a really, really strong wide receiver class if they can close on Travis Smith Jr. and C.J. Wiley or a Tyon Taylor and maybe get another out-of-state guy from California or Florida. There's a lot of targets out there, so make sure you are locked in on this channel for the latest. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something. Hope to see you on the website.